How's everybody doing today? Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Can I hear something? I know we heard you a whole time. Now it's time to start. And you're all perfectly quiet. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So we're getting started a little bit late today, but want to thank you for coming and joining us today for our what month is this? Is this June? Is this June 2023? Want to thank you for joining us for this June 2023 meeting of Minnesota MUFON. Thank you for being here in person. Thank you for being here online. But we've got a great meeting for you today. So we're going to jump right in. My name is Tom. I am the Minnesota MUFON chapter director. And I'm going to start off with some slides because my directions say after I introduce myself, I go into slides. So let's go to slides. So what's up in Minnesota? We're going to start off with updates. So our updates are cases that I've shown you in the past that weren't completed at the time that have now completed since the last meeting. So we're going to do those first, and then we'll go into the new cases. We're going to start with our updates. Case number 129272-U took place on December 31st, 2022. Man, those ETs should be out partying on New Year's Eve. What's up with that? At 7:40 p.m., a circle was seen at FB1, that valet classification FB1. We're going to talk about valet classifications when we get to the new cases. So it took place in Beltrami County. They saw reddish orange glowing circles slowly moving east to west silently. So just a segment, they were in the room watching a movie when they heard their cousin or roommate yell from the room that there were orange flying things outside above the trees. Come out and look. Instead of going to a room where she saw them, immediately went outside with her iPhone. And Peter Collins was investigating this one. It was in progress when I showed it to you before. And let's see, what do we got? And it's not advancing. Oh, yeah, but I need this to advance for me. So these are some of the pictures that they submitted. So again, interesting pictures, but there's just so little detail to work with. And with videos and pictures from updates, I kind of go through faster because in the new ones, I show you more, but it's completed as an unknown others. So attempted to phone witness, phone number has been disconnected, unable to run video format, not by support of my computer software. Stills from video look good based on good description and video grabs. This will get a disposition of unknown UAV by Bill McNeff, close that out, our chief investigator, Bill McNeff. So thank you, Bill, for closing that out for us. So yeah, unknown other, it's tough. You know, I can't stress enough how important the witness interview is when we can't get a hold of the witness, because some people where you see, let's go back. So see how this short description, I try to grab exactly what they put in there. Some people's short descriptions are just a word or two or less. And sometimes their detailed description is also very short too. Sometimes the detailed is very long, but sometimes we don't get that much. So it is important to interview that witness to really get a good feel of what actually happened. So it's unknown, and UAV is unknown aerial vehicle. So that's what that is. So thank you, Bill, for closing that out for us. Case number 129523-U, they didn't have a date for us. They didn't give us a date, but the time was 12 a.m. A sphere was seen, MA1, maneuver of the first kind. We'll go into that a little more in the new cases in Hennepin County. Their short description was, feeling they find or follow me. So that's exactly what their short description was. And this is their entire detailed description, that I have pictures and video of an object or objects that I can't identify. So Steve Hero was working on that, and Steve Hero gets on a case, man. It's like you're trying to get a chew toy away from a Doberman. You can't. He's on it. He's on it. He'll take care of that case for you. So, so I'm not surprised it's closed out. So let's see what Steve found out. He got. Okay, so yeah, and if you were here last month, this image might look familiar to you because we've seen this before. This person submitted about 4 or 5 different cases using very similar images, and some were the same images. So this might look very familiar to you. So we got here again, and again, very different from the first two, but you can almost see that same type of shape within there. What I'm not sure what that streak is, but yeah. So this person has submitted a few cases with all the very same or similar pictures. So. So Steve, it's a man-made object. So here's some segments of what the conclusion was on this. The witness had submitted several photos and videos, but after the interview, the witness admitted that he had been seeing objects for several years now and decided to submit all photos and videos at once. He has no clear recollection as to the specific dates or times that the objects were seen, and he admitted to drinking on several occasions. Now, you can't draw a conclusion from that. Drunk people can see unidentified flying objects, so you can't make the conclusion, oh, he's drinking. It's useful information, but it's not enough to draw a full conclusion. So I wouldn't want to jump to that conclusion. The case was difficult without the exact dates to investigate and only given approximates with photos and videos. It is my conclusion that the objects seen were most likely man-made, being drones and building signs or tower lights. There are 4 other cases that are information only: 2968 or 685, 29686, 29526, and 129,525 is a witness decided to submit photos he's had over several years. So completed as an IFO man-made object. Case number 124128-U took place. They didn't have a date for us. The date was empty, and at 12 a.m., a teardrop was seen, valet classification of MA1, so maneuver of the first kind in Fairmont. A large bright orb with two friends accompanying. So here's just some segments of what they had said. What you likely don't know is the people of Fairmont. So this is the one where people of Fairmont are seeing sightings a lot, but they're not reporting them. So it's very common. This person moved from out of Fairmont to Fairmont, and this person wanted to report the stuff. So apparently a lot of people in Fairmont see these, but they're not getting reported. So Bill McNeff was working on this one. Let's see what Bill McNeff came up with on this one. So here's a screenshot of the video, and I think what they're talking about is probably this right up here is my guess. I think these are probably like street lights or cars, but it's just really impossible to tell from this screenshot. So completed IFO natural phenomenon. So nothing to indicate anything other than stars or a planet. Disposition will be IFO natural phenomenon. So Bill McNeff, thank you for completing that for us. And Bill, did you want to comment on this case or natural phenomenon on IFOs at all, or no? That's enough. Okay. Whenever I'm showing completion of cases and field investigators are here, I do like to give them credit, and I do like to give them the opportunity. If they've got comments they'd like to make, I do like to let them speak up a little bit and shine, because I mean, I'm the one here up in front that everybody's looking at, but they're the ones that really did all the footwork and legwork and really got this stuff done. So we appreciate that. I want to make sure they get a little bit of the star shine too, no pun intended. So what's up in Minnesota? So these are all new cases. So these are cases we haven't seen before. We're gonna take a little bit more time with this. So these were submitted to us between May 13th and June 9th. So remember, this is the submit date. So we've actually got a really, really old case in here. So this case goes way before May 13th. So I'm gonna show you some overview of what we're gonna be looking at today. So here's the overview of the new cases. We've got 5 cases submitted. One is an ERT case, and I'll talk about that before if I leave the screen without talking about ERT, let me know, because I'll tell you why we're only going to show you that. So the submission date was May 13th of 2023 through 6/9/2023, but the date range of sightings, June 6th of 1938. Yeah, June 6th of 1938 through May 31st of 2023. That I should double check. I do have the right dates. June 6th of 1938. So if you think about it, MUFON just turned 54 years old. MUFON turned 54 years old at the end of May this year. So MUFON was started in 1969. This case predates MUFON by 60 years. So yeah, imagine that. Or I'm sorry, 30 years. So this case is, very, very old. So yeah, 85 years old. So very old case. We got one case of interest. So case of interest is when the cases come in to the CMS, they go to MUFON headquarters first before they're assigned to states, and MUFON kind of takes a look at them. And if they see a case that they think really might be something important or special, they'll mark it as a case of interest before they send it to the states. We've got one case of interest this month. And we have RCS, which is rapid close system. We have none of those. And that's the SpaceX satellites. Or when we're getting a lot of those, we knew what they were. We didn't spend a lot of time on it. We just closed them very quickly. So as far as the shapes, we've got one circle reported, one square rectangle. Remember that report where I showed you with all the different shapes? These are the shapes that happened in Minnesota last month. One circle, one square rectangle, one fireball, one cylinder, and one sphere. Our valet classifications were 3 AN1s, 1 AN3, 3 CE1s, and 1 FB1. So I'm going to talk about that in a second too, but I do want to go back to this ERT. So ERT, so I can show you any case that comes in or details about it, except for an ERT case. ERT stands for Experiencer Resource Team. So with an ERT case, there may or may not be a UFO sighting attached to it, but this is something where the experiencers contacted us and they're looking for resources, hence the name Experiencer Resource Team. So while we do want to close these cases out like we would a normal case, the expectation is the relationship with the witness could go on much, much longer because they may be looking for resources, could be therapists or support groups or answers to questions. So it's not so much about investigating a UFO sighting as much as being a resource for these people. We've actually got 3 ERT members in the room right now. So Bill McNeff is an ERT member, Anna Scott is an ERT member, and Jared Nelson is an ERT member too. And do any of you 3 want to talk a little bit about ERT and kind of tell us what ERT is all about? Looks like Jared wants to, but he wants to see if Bill or Anna wants to first. Oh, I did. Oh, thank you. I always stumble with that. So, but thank you. Yep. Thank you. Bill or Jared, want to add anything to that? Cool. And I will add too that you'd think that ERT members must be field investigators, and that's not entirely true. It's getting close to that, but I think there's still a couple ERT members that aren't field investigators. Am I correct in stating that? It's no longer the case. Okay. Right, right. Thank you. Because yeah, for a while you could be ERT and not be field investigator. Now they've changed that. So ERT is kind of a newer offering or service of MUFON. So we're still kind of integrating it and kind of learning about it. And it's kind of evolving on its own too. So I'm still learning about it too. So thank you for that clarification, Anna. Oh, and valet classification. So let's see. Somebody mentioned Project Blue Book. So I'm assuming everybody's familiar with Project Blue Book, the Air Force study of UFOs and extraterrestrial phenomenon. Well, the leader of, so when they did Project Blue Book, they wanted it not to be just an Air Force thing, because they thought if it's the military government just doing this and debunking everything, it would look fishy. So they wanted someone outside the government or the military to do that. So they recruited a very well-known and respected physicist named J. Allen Hynek to be the head of Project Blue Book. And he had a mentee, and his mentee was Jacques Vallée. And when you get lots of scientific data, you want to start categorizing and classifying them in different ways. And Vallée classifications are categorizing classification of UFO sightings named after Jacques Vallée. And so they come in a number of different kinds. So I'm going to talk to you about, so we're going to see one AN3. So AN is one. I'll tell you a little bit about each of the four types, because there's four types. We're only going to see three different types today. So AN stands for anomaly. We're going to see one anomaly, and an AN3 is an anomaly of the third kind. So it's an anomaly of the third kind. So MUFON defines an anomaly of the third kind as, let me get my magic papers. Not that kind of magic papers, come on. Anomalies which is with associated entities. This class could include reports of ghosts, yetis, and other instances of cryptozoology, as well as elves and spirits. So yeah, anomalies that are associated with entities. So, and just, I'll tell you an anomaly one too, so you know what we mean by anomaly. Anomaly one do not have long-lasting physical effects, such as amorphous lights or unexpected explosions. So hear an explosion and there's a yeti or some other cryptids. That could be an anomaly of the third kind. So 3 CE1s. So we're going to see 3 CE1 cases, and CE is close encounter. So I'm sure everyone's heard of the movie Close Encounter of the Third Kind. That's a Vallée classification. That's a Vallée, close encounter of the third kind is a Vallée classification. So we're going to see 3 close encounters of the first kind. So MUFON defines a close encounter of the first kind as class of objects seen on the ground or at a short distance to the observer. So that's a close encounter of the first kind. And we're going to see one FB1. So one FB1. FB stands for flyby. So an FB1, a flyby, is simply a sighting of a UFO flying by in the sky. And this is the category most commonly reported. So we're going to see one of those. And I should say, when I say 1, 3, and 1, it's not 1, 3, and 1, because our ERT case is not going to, is popped out of that. So we're not going to see the ERT case, which is unfortunate too, because the ERT case is the 1938 case. And it's the case of interest. So I'd love to show you that stuff, but you're not going to see any of that today, because those are all our ERT cases, which I can't show you anything about that. So let's jump into the 4 cases that I can show you about. Case number, what do we got? Case number 130951-U. And the -U, and actually, let me go back a second. So let's go back a second. I was still going forward. No, I was going back. Did it jump that far back? Why did it go way back there? I'm just going backwards now. You'd think with 2 buttons, it'd be easier to manage this. Okay, so anomalies, close encounters, and flybys. There is another type, a maneuver. So there are maneuvers. So there's, and each of these kinds, they go from the first kind all the way up to the 5th kind. So there's anomalies of the first kind, second kind, third kind, fourth kind, 5th kind. So the one that's not listed here is a maneuver. So a maneuver of the first kind is gathers those UFO observations that involve an object with a discontinuous trajectory, such as a drop, a maneuver, or a loop. So that's so it could be anomalies, close encounters, maneuvers, or flybys. Those are our 4 types of cases. So, and so where are we at? So event. So 4/18/2023 at 8:33 p.m. a fireball was seen. CE1, so a close encounter of the first kind, was seen in Stillwater. Big, bright, glowing, hovering orb changed to a circle disc with a gray shadowed hovered wired green and white lights going around the exterior. That's their full short description. That's exactly what they put in. And her detailed description was really, 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 really long. So I read it. I'm just giving you a synopsis. So there's a woman in a car. She felt she was being chased by an orb one night. I think it even got over to her car and was like matching her car's speed. It really, really frightened her quite a bit. And since then she's been experiencing orbs in her vicinity. She's seen them shape shifting. Her daughters, her boyfriend, and her neighbors have also witnessed these events. So she was really shaken up by this one. Anna Scott is working on this one, and I don't know, it's in progress. Anna, do you want to comment on this case at all or no? Okay, cool. So I think we've got some pictures with this one too, or do we? Oh yeah, so we got pictures with this one. So obviously this is really hard to tell what this is. I think these are what she's seeing, but it's really hard to say. Some of the other pictures, it's a little more obvious what they're indicating. But so yeah, obviously they're looking at this right here. I'm assuming that's what they're indicating there with that one, because it's similar to this one. And that's actually interesting because it does look like some sort of craft or shape there, which could be a drone, could be any number of things. But it does seem to have like a structure, which I kind of like about that. And for our guests too, this is a good picture because we've got structure, we've got a horizon, we can see this. If we could work with the witness, we could identify exactly where this is. We could go out to that location and we could get some estimates on where that might be in relation to. Where like sometimes it's just a black view, which is a dot, which is helpful, but there's not a lot we can do with that. So, and there is a video that comes with this one, and I don't know if it's the next one or not, but it's a very short video. She does drop an F-bomb. I try to give everyone a heads up when there's more vulgarity in the video. It's hard to hear it, so if you want to hear the F-bomb, you're gonna have to listen closely. If you don't want to hear the F-bomb, just don't pay much attention. It'll zip right by you. So, so I'm not sure if it's the next one. So yeah, and this is an interesting one too. So I'm not sure if it's a crop one. So it does look like there's a structure or craft here. I think the next one is the video. So let's take a look at the video. Okay, so this is the video, and you get a better idea. You'll see that structure that was in the first picture. Let's take a look at this and see what we get here. So now we're obviously on a street, and see, this actually looks like a screenshot of that first picture, because there's that two lights that I said I thought that's what it was. It could be this over here. So, but obviously we've got a turning on the painted down there. So a little bit more reference points with this one than the first picture. So, and I guess we didn't get any audio, which is fine. So nobody gets to hear the F-bomb. So take that. So if you want to hear the F-bomb, you have to go get one on your own. So, all right. Case number 131226-U took place on June 1st of 1981. So this one does go back a ways. 10:10 p.m. A sphere was seen, CE1 in Brooklyn Park. Appeared to be a ball of fire about the size of a basketball that rose from near the ground and stopped directly above me before moving away. So this is they put a lot of information in this one too. So I'm just going to give you a synopsis. This is a medical professional and had just dropped off his date and saw what appeared to be a fire near the garage. So he actually got out to investigate because he wanted to see if the garage or the brush was on fire. He wanted to make sure to put that out. And as he got out, it rose up and started elevating, and it hovered toward him, and it got over his head. And it hovered over his head for a few seconds, I think it's about 20 feet off the ground. Then it moved past him and went over the house across the street. And he still thought this could be a fire hazard. It was a fireball. So he went across the street to make sure that nothing was ablaze. And he got across the street, and this very strong feeling of fear took over him. He felt really, really frightened. This feeling of fear just took over him. And he got so freaked out, he ran back to his car and jumped in, and he took off. And so he was in the medical profession. So he was really shooken up by this, and he really wanted to kind of protect his reputation and stuff. So he didn't talk about it with anybody. He really kept quiet about it. And over the years, he would casually share about it with friends and stuff. And now, so from 1981 to now, so he's now bringing it forward and now talking about it. So it's taken, and that's not uncommon that it happens, where someone is really, really upset by their sighting, that it does take them a long time to come forward with that. So that is assigned to Bill Auden, and Bill is here in the room. And I don't know, Bill, have you had a chance to even look at this? Have you talked to the witness at all? Do you want to comment on this? Just read through it. Okay, cool. So when Bill completes this case, we'll update you on what Bill finds out. I don't think there's no pictures or anything on this one. I don't think so. Case number 131376-U took place on May 31st of this year at 6:37 p.m. A square or rectangle was seen, CE1, so close encounter of the first kind, in Deer River, which is in Itasca County. Greenish blue orb changes from round to square to a ship. So that's their short description. This is their full detailed description. Traveling back to my home the other day off of County Road 19 and County Road 238 in Deer River, noticed a cloud that seemed unusual, started taking pictures, did not have a visual on the green orb until review of the picture. So Steve Hero, remember, he's the one get the treat from the Doberman. He'll have this finished next time, I'm sure, but Steve Hero, it's assigned to him. And so a lot of you who have seen What's Up in Minnesota before, I want to ask you a question because there's a comment that he makes here that raised a flag for me. So I want to see if you picked up on anything. As you look at that detailed description, is there anything in there that might jump out to you that might be indicative of something? Anyone have a guess what I saw that caught my attention? And let's do non-field investigator search, because Jared's like, I think I know. Was that a hand up or just stretching? No? No? Anyone have an idea what comment is in there that caught my attention? Okay, I'll open up the field. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Seen in the pictures, but not with his naked eye. Give him a round of applause for that. So very good. And I think we've got 5 pictures. So I'm gonna show you all 5 pictures. I don't think there's video with this one. They're nice photographs, but so here's the first, come on. Okay, so here's the first picture. I believe what he's talking about is this right here, this little bluish green orb. And if you're looking at this picture now, if you've been here before, you might start to have an idea. You might also know what this is. So I'll share with you what I think it is, but and so in our next picture, so our bluish green orb has moved. So now it's over here. Remember, it was up here. Now it's down here. So this is, I think, what he's talking about, bluish green orb. He says it flattens to a disc and then becomes a ship. And I'm not seeing that, but so here, so now we see it over here. So it's moved again. So it was up here, it was down here. Now it's up over here. And then moving on here, I think it's, because I did see it. Oh, it's right. Oh, shoot. Gotta be careful. Yeah, it's a. I wish this clicker was, can't tell if I'm going forward or backward now. I should have put numbers on these. So this time it's right here. I think this is backward. And this time it's right over here. And yeah, this time it's right here. So we see it moving around. I don't see it turning into an object though, but that's what I'm seeing. I believe that blue orb is what he is seeing. So I think I heard someone say it. I think I know what it is. Does anybody here think they know? Because I've talked about this in other cases. Oh, here, hand goes up over here. Another visitor. What do you think that is? Well, yeah. Reflection on the windshield from something inside. That sounds good. That's not what I think it is, but that's a good guess though. That makes sense. Anybody else have an idea what they think that is? Okay, so now remember, he said he didn't see it with his eyes, but he saw it in the pictures. So I'm going to back up a little bit if I'm backing up. So I'm backing up. And this is almost, let's see. So this is almost classic. Now remember, we've got the dot right here. And what we've talked about before in other meetings is lens flares. So there's things that happen with a lens flare. So one thing you need with a lens flare is you need a really bright source of light. We've got a very bright source of light. Now, the source of light, remember, doesn't have to be in the picture. It could be outside the picture, still could create a flare in the picture, but we've actually got the source of light right here in the picture, and we've got the lens flare. So what the lens flare is, where he thought it was a windshield, that makes a lot of sense, it's a windshield, but with a lens flare, there's a very bright source of light, and the light comes into the camera, and there's an actual reflection happening inside the camera. It's bouncing around inside the camera. So it's not on the windshield, it's not out in real time. So when he said he didn't see it with his bare eyes, but he saw it in the picture, that immediately made me think that there's something, an anomaly with the camera. And this is very normal. We get these. So this is, I wouldn't classify this as a hoax. I'd classify it as an identified anomaly of some sort, but that's what I think it is. But Steve is investigating this one. We'll see how Steve closes out. Because if it's an object, Steve, trust me, Steve's going to find out about it. So let's go back to our next case. So yeah, so our next case, come on. Okay, case number 131470-U, and this might be our last case for today too. August 8th of 2020, so it's got a couple years on it. At 11:20 p.m., a circle was seen, FB1, so flyby of the first kind, in Long Beach. When I heard Long Beach, I'm like, California? Nope, Pope County, so Long Beach, Minnesota. 3 lights moved equidistantly in a triangle formation and then quickly accelerated at an unprecedented speed, leaving in beams of light and disappearing. I was sitting outside around a fire pit with several family members when I was the only one noticed 3 lights in the sky moving equidistantly from each other in a triangle shape, slowly move and then change direction, speed off so fast that the light looked like a beam and then vanished. So Joel Henry, it's been assigned to Joel Henry. This one I think just came in yesterday or the day before. So I think we just assigned it to Joel yesterday. So I don't think he's had a chance to look at it yet. And I don't think we've got any pictures up. So no pictures on that one. So, and that is What's Up in Minnesota. So that's the end of What's Up in Minnesota. So